Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and this is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may just give us something more to think about. So, let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Six of Swords, and it is here because it corresponds in astrology with the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, swords in tarot, air element symbolism, and air element symbolism has to do with our rationale, our intellect, our logical way of doing things, okay? So the thoughts, plans, and communications that we make. Also sort of how we analyze things and how we engage in conflict. Strategy, right? So we come to the Six of Swords, and we see a sort of a strategy being employed here. This is an escape, right? So this is a card about transition, leaving something behind, moving on. And, you know, it says that there's a journey that's been initiated, and it can be a physical journey, or it can just be a journey of the heart and or the mind. But it's about getting away from something that wasn't working for us, that was bad for us, harmful to us, toxic for us, that was either, you know, including us in all the wrong ways or excluding us entirely, right? So it's necessary for our progress to leave this painful thing, this painful group, this painful collaboration, this painful situation, whatever it is, behind. And in so doing, we're going to go to a distant place that promises us more potential and also, you know, a little more emotional calm, because when we're really in the stuff with people, when we're really having conflict, with others and in a situation that isn't working for us, often, you know, we lose our emotional calm. And when we lose our emotional calm, it's hard to be rational, logical. It's hard to analyze our situation very well, right? So we move to that further place. We become a little distant from the situation, and we can get an emotional calm there where we can sort of assess our situation, learn what we can from the situation we have left behind, and then hopefully move forward from there, you know, a little better educated about ourselves and other people and the ways of the world in general. And with that said, I'm going to turn this card over. Oh, hey, we got the Ace of Pentacles. Everything's coming up roses. So, I think this is a very positive card. Obviously, the Ace of Pentacles is, Pentacles are earth sign symbolism, earth element symbolism, and earth element symbolism is about the physical resources we possess and what we're willing to do with them in terms of work, in terms of investment, in terms of just giving of ourselves, that in order that we can secure for ourselves sort of an established place to be, an established way of being, make sure we have all the stuff and things that we like, love, and can't get enough of, right? In one place where we feel secure, safe, and well supplied. So the Ace of Pentacles, you know, aces really just speak to the overall gist of the element that they're in, right? And you see here, you know, a lot of times when we talk about pentacles, we talk about a garden because, you know, it's very much about growing our resources in one way or another. And a lot of that is analogous to growing a garden of some kind. You see the plants and foliage here in the background, ahead of the mountains. It's like we're in our little safe zone and far from the struggle of having to climb, right? And so, you know, the analogy would be that, you know, we start with a seed, right? We start with a seed, we start with a little bit of resource, we start with a coin in our hand, we start with an opportunity for growth, right? and we plant that seed. But it's not just about planting the seed, right? It's about paying attention to the soil we have planted the seed in. It's about giving the seed water, watching it sprout, making sure it has enough sunshine, making sure it has enough nutrients, making sure it has enough water, but enough but not too much of these things, right? And really giving it our attention, being sort of in conversation with the growth of the thing that we're trying to build, right? Or the growth of the thing that we're trying to grow, so that we can see when it needs something, and we can give that to it, such that it will grow into something really strong and sturdy that we can rely on, that will have value for us, right? And the Ace of Pentacles is like an offer. It's like saying, yes, you will have the resources you need to build on. And I love that. I love that sort of message that comes across there. It's just like, hey, here's a seed, here's a coin, here's a resource, here's something to make a start with, right? And with that, and with a little bit of dedication, a little bit of steadfast resolve, a little bit of doing the same thing, doing the thing will work, tried and true, right? Then you know that you will not just have a seed eventually, but you'll have a whole plant, hopefully full of fruit or flowers or something that has value for you, right? So where do we see this on the page? Well, with Pentacles, I kind of automatically go to Saturn. That's pretty normal for me. But we could also go here to Capricorn or Taurus. So what we're looking at is earth element symbolism. Saturn is here in the land of Aquarius. Saturn's not really making aspect with anybody at this time, just kind of hanging out, being itself. Toward the end of its transit in Aquarius, it's going to move on into Pisces pretty soon. But Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn is a ruler, is the traditional ruler of Aquarius. And so it's really about building things that lend to our sense of security, building and growing things, establishing networks for support, that establishing institutions, establishing habits and ways of being that lend to our ability to have a life full of things that have value, right? That lend to our ability to grow something of value for ourselves in this life. And in Aquarius, it's not just about ourselves. It's a very humanitarian vibe. It's very much about, do these institutions that we rely on do what they say that they do, right? Do the systems that we follow that we are a part of, are they working the way they are supposed to work? Are they working the way they once did work, or did they ever work, right? So we're interested in revising or replacing systems, institutions, again, habits and ways of being that no longer work. If they ever did, they no longer work. We just want to update it or replace it with something that does work. And when I talk about does work, I'm talking about it does work to provide support and uplift for everybody in the collective, not just ourselves, right? So, what are you doing with the seeds that you've got to plant right now? Are you going to plant just enough seeds for your own garden? Are you really only working for your own security, or are you working to establish security, support, and uplift for a larger group of people? Most of us, are working at least to try to provide security, support, and uplift for ourselves and our families, right? But the community is really important here. We want to be involved, and we want to be seeking for the things that support our communities, to be supportive of everyone in the community. Furthermore, you've got Mercury and Pluto here in Capricorn. They're essentially conjunct now. There's going to be a conjunct here in the next couple of days between Mercury and Pluto, and that's like our thoughts, our rationale, right? Our intellect, under pressure, right? In the same place in the sky as the planet Pluto. So Pluto is definitely about the sort of the hidden depths, the things that we don't necessarily see, coming like endings and beginnings, transitions, transformations, right? So, you know, we're going to definitely, we're probably going to see some changes, some transformation in the way that we see things, in the way that we think about things, in the way that we make our plans. And that's going to have to do with, you know, just establishing ways of being that give us our own support, because Capricorn is like the work that we're going to do, the plan that we make, and the work we're going to do to establish support for ourselves. Whereas then those two planets eventually will move into Aquarius, and that'll be more about establishing support for other people. And you've got Uranus and the North Node down here in Taurus saying, yeah, our true trajectory for everyone, the true North is in Taurus, which is like we seek that security, we seek to establish that feeling of support and uplift, but there's a lot of change still happening with that. So, you know, we have to be on our toes, we have to be a little bit flexible, we have to be really thinking about the problem of providing support and uplift for ourselves and our collectives. You know, and we don't know exactly where we're going to land yet, but it's going to have to happen eventually, right? Hopefully. Hopefully we find a way to be secure. We establish a way to be secure sometime in the near future that doesn't involve having to always be on our toes and chasing after sort of resources, worrying about whether what we have is what we need. Okay, and taken together with the Six of Swords. You know, sometimes, and I'm going to say this again, friends, sometimes rejection is the God's protection, right? Sometimes, you know, you find yourself walking away from a situation because, you know, say you were part of a collaboration, whether that was in your workplace or among friends or in the civic life, you were working together with some other people to get something done. And for some reason or another, you know, things took a left turn and it turned out not to work out for you. You didn't like the philosophy of the people you were working with. You didn't like the actions, the plans people were making. You didn't care to be part of a group where there was infighting, perhaps, or, you know, perhaps we just found that we didn't fit into that scenario so well. So either that scenario spit us out, right, rejected us, or you know, we spit ourselves out of that scenario. We said, this isn't going to work for me, I gotta go, right? Which is another form of rejecting. It's rejecting the thing that we thought we could be a part of, right? In either way, you know, we move on to calmer waters. We move on for our own good, to hopefully, you know, find a place where we've got some more potential. And that's where we come to the Ace of Pentacles. That seed, that coin, that initial little bit of physical resource that you possess, that you can use to grow into something of value. You know, sometimes just by walking away from a situation where we felt disempowered, we re-empower ourselves, or we find ourselves a resource that we can use to actually, you know, achieve the goals that we thought we were trying to achieve in another place with another group of people, right? So again, sometimes rejection is the God's protection. Sometimes, you know, what we get when we sort of run away from a situation, when we turn our back and don't show our face anymore, you know, no matter how disappointed we may have been with it, no matter how much we don't like the idea of being in transition, leaving something behind, having to move on, you know, sometimes what we find on the other end of our journey is actually a very good opportunity and, you know, a good set of resources that we can use to grow something of value for ourselves. So if you find yourself in this situation where you're getting ready to go, or you've already made haste away from the situation, right? If you find yourself in that situation, just understand that there are always more opportunities. There is always, you know, there are always seeds to plant. There are always resources available to us. And so, you know, Don't think of it as having been the last resource you ever had, the last chance you ever had to create something good for yourself. Think of it as, okay, I've protected myself from this this stuff I saw was about to go down, or that was going down, that wasn't working for me. I've protected myself, and by doing that, I found a reward, and the reward was, you know, a new reset, a new resource, something to protect, something to feed, something to grow. Yeah. All right. I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.